Hey there, my fellow Indians. Welcome to NewsHamster. Today, we'll discuss and talk about some important things that have taken place in the last week. We will have this dose every Wednesday or Thursday, so welcome to the first episode of NewsHamster Sentinel. What is the meaning of Sentinel? अरे Google कर लो यार तुम लोग यार. So let us start with the Republic Day celebrations where the farmers protesting against the farm bills decided to have a tractor rally. This rally did not go in the way it was planned, as one segment of the farmer population just decided today let's go wild. Before you start overthinking, I am talking about the violence that happened in Delhi near the Red Fort. Firstly, the violence that happened is definitely condemnable because it is obviously not right to take law in your own hands, especially when you have been silent protesters for the last 100 days. With this one turn of event, the farmers' protest seems to have lost its credibility. But there's quite some ifs and buts, like how easy was it for the farmers to enter the Red Fort on a Republic Day? And who is this Deep Sidhu who himself was banned from giving speeches during the protest but later showed up and pretty much orchestrated the whole violence event? Janch to ho ki rahegi. But violence, no matter who does, is condemnable. Why was Rajdeep Sardesai in news then? Because he misreported news and said that a person named Navneet Singh, who was a part of the protest, died because of the blows of Delhi police. But later, it was provided by the Delhi police with a camera footage that his tractor, the tractor of Navneet Singh, had toppled. As a result, he died. So due to misreporting, Rajdeep was taken off air for 2 weeks and with 1 month's salary cut to penalize him for misreporting. This is the platinum standard of reporting at India Today. The flag, yes, the tricolor. Please note that the tricolor was not taken down, but a Nishan Sahib flag was hoisted on one of the tombs of the Red Fort. The Nishan Sahib flag is not equal to Khalistani flag. Please understand this. Rather, the Nishan Sahib flag is a part of Sikh culture. Just FYI, in 1783, a Sardar warrior named Baba Baghel Singh unfurled the Nishan Sahib at the ramparts of the Red Fort to mark his victory against the Mughal king Shah Alam II. In the present day, when Sikhs celebrate the Fateh Divas, the Nishan Sahib is used and hoisted at various places. You must have watched the film Kesari, no? What is India's biggest nationalist Akshay Kumar glorifying in it? Kajaria tiles? So all in all, calling this event, this farmer protest / violence event, tantamount to what happened at Capitol Hill is mere stupidity, mitro. Moving on, the climate risk index was released and India has ranked 7th, which means India is the 7th most affected nation due to climate change. Hashtag climate change is real. And then the budget session of Parliament has begun and the budget was presented on February 1st, 2021. Well, it was quite an amazing budget, but we cannot call it transformative. Let us discuss some positives of the budget. The government has prioritized the healthcare a lot, and the government has set aside a huge amount not just for the healthcare but also for the COVID vaccine. The government has prioritized the well-being of the individuals, of the citizens, and has spoken about universal access to safe drinking water, sanitation, hygiene, and so on, and has placed a target of 9.5% to the GDP, which is something that we should appreciate. Apart from this, we have to understand the fact that the government is trying to prioritize capital expenditure and the government is trying to seek some revenue out of its capital expenses. As a part of this, we have seen the disinvestment in privatization of 2 PSBs and 1 general insurer. It is opening up the initial public offering of Life Insurance Corporation. It is speaking about foreign direct investment in insurance with special safeguards. The government is trying to create jobs. The government is trying to create employment. The government is trying to generate demand through the way of capital expenditure and infrastructure, where it is giving priority to the national infrastructure pipeline. The government has spoken about particular financial problems. It has aimed to create a bad bank which will consume the bad loans of the banks in the country. The government has spoken about asset reconstruction companies, asset management companies which will deal with the problem of the non-performing assets in the economy. The government has set aside rupees 20,000 crores for recapitalization of banks. All in all, these are the positives. Now let me tell you about some negatives in the budget. The fact that the government does not exactly cater to the idea of employment, be it the urban employment or demand generation, is something to worry about. The government predominantly looks at it through the lens of capital expenditure. The government has not undertaken enormous expenditure, hence the budget cannot be called as an expansionary one or a transformative one. There's a lot of things that the government could have done. It is only 1% increase for this year, for this fiscal year, where this was a very abnormal time that we went through and expenditure was something more that we needed. Apart from this, agriculture sees no support, middle class section of the population sees no support, export promotion sees no support, demand generation and urban employment have been completely left to the vagaries of growth cycles. The government, though, talks about great things like the digital census, the development financial institution, the government does not aim to address the inequality in growth. The government does not address the problems of hunger, malnutrition. The government does not address the problem of the people who were pushed into poverty because of the pandemic, and also the solution or compensation to the migrant crisis or the crisis that took place because of the lockdown. Going further, this is about the budget. You have to check out our detailed reports on our Instagram or our website. The links for it are attached below. Even the economic survey has been summed up well by us. You can have a look at it. The links have been attached below. Then going on, we'll talk about some bail news. The bail pleas of Munawar Farooqi stands rejected. The same is the case with Natasha Narwal as well. Natasha Narwal was arrested in the anti-CAA protests. Mandeep Punia, who is a journalist, has been granted bail and he was arrested while covering the farmers' protest. Talking about farmers' protest again, Rihana tweeted on it and said, "Why aren't we talking about this? Hashtag farmers' protests." Or hona kya tha? India's defender-in-chief, Kangana reacted to her tweets, and why not? Why can't she do it? She's taken it upon herself to defend India. Tum log kar sakte ho kya wo sab? You can't do it. And Kangana wrote, "No one is talking about it because they are not farmers. They are terrorists who are trying to divide India so that China can take over our vulnerable, broken nation and make it a Chinese colony, much like USA. Sit down, you fool. We are not selling our nation like you dummies." She called her fool and dummy in single tweet. What happened post this was astonishing because Twitter did not seem divided. Almost everyone seemed to laugh at Kangana. Kangana started to trend along with the hashtag Bhakts. A lot of people were with Rihana on this, and Diljit Dosanjh was regretting on the fact that he had not commented on Rihana's pictures yet. Also, Greta Thunberg has joined it by expressing her solidarity with the farmers' protests. Lastly, a complaint was filed by Mumbai-based activist Naz Patel on fashion e-tailer Myntra because their logo seemed offensive to women. See, who says India's democratic values have deteriorated? You can go file a complaint on your wild imaginations, and brands as big as Myntra will change their logo for you. Post this scenario, other brands like McDonald's, Subway were seeming very, very scared about what will happen to their logo. This brings me to the fear that we went through while we observed the logo of NewsHamster. If you have any thoughts, any feedback, please don't write to us in the comment section or any other place. Instead, you can press the subscribe button and wait for our next video/podcast. Until next time, Jai Hind, hashtag say no to pseudo-feminism.